Hey friends, today we're talking about geometry. Okay, this is our first lesson, so please title it Geo1L1 Classifying Angles. Okay, let's review. An angle is formed by two rays that share a common endpoint. This point is called the vertex. It's where the two rays meet. Okay, it's actually this point right here. Okay, so that is a vertex. An acute angle is an angle whose measure is less than 90 degrees. So anything that is smaller than 90 is an acute angle, while anything bigger than 90 but less than 180 is an obtuse angle. A right angle is exactly 90 degrees, and a straight angle is exactly 180. Okay, so take a second, pause the video, and make sure you have these 4 drawings and then also what a vertex is. Okay, you've probably unpaused the video, so now let's go back and try not to look at your notes and see if you can come up with what these are. Classify the following angles. Okay, ready, set, go. Pause the video, and I'll be back in just a second to show you the answers. Okay, here we go. Here are the answers. This is obtuse. It's a large angle, okay? Obtuse. It even sounds like a big word, right? And then acute. Oh, look at that little acute angle, okay? It's tiny. It's less than 90 degrees. If you look here, this is a right angle. This box always represents 90 degrees. And this line is a straight line. So again, straight angle, 180 degrees. Okay? These ones, we don't exactly know what their exact angle measure is without using our friend a protractor. Okay, here we go. Let's look at these examples. You can name an angle by its vertex and its points. So if we look at this angle shown down here, we can name him. We can name him as angle 1 because of the 1 right here, or we can name him with the letters ZYX or XYZ. It's up to you which one you want to name it. Okay, so since the angle is less than 90 degrees, it's an acute angle. So again, you have 2 options. You can name it from the vertex and call it Y or 1, and you can name it XYZ or ZYX. Okay, so let's try to name some angles. Make sure that you've paused the video and taken some notes on this. Okay, so we know that we need to classify these and we need to name it in 4 different ways. Okay, so take a second, pause the video, name the angles, and then classify them. Okay, so I have shown you the 4 ways that you can name them. You name them with the vertex, in this case C and 2, 3 and S, and over here 4 and M. Or you can name them with the points, A, C, B, B, C, A, R, S, T, T, S, R, and then over here L, M, N, and N, M, L. Okay? Now let's classify them in terms of who they are. Okay, number 1 would be what kind of an angle? Think about it. It would be a right angle. My airliner's doing something crazy right now, so I'm not going to write it down. So right angle. Our number 2 would be an obtuse angle. Okay, so obtuse. And then number 3 would be a straight line. Okay, so we've got our, oh, I'm sorry, I clicked it. We've got number 1 as being a right angle, number 2 as being an obtuse angle, and number 3 as being a straight line. Okay, I managed to get it to work, so there it is, right, obtuse, and straight. Okay. 2 angles are vertical if they are opposite angles formed by the intersection of 2 lines. We're talking about vertical angles, so this should be your next little subheading. Okay, so vertical angles, they are congruent because they have the same measure. So you have 2 new words here, vertical and congruent. So make sure you jot down some notes. 1 and 3 are vertical angles, while 2 and 4 are vertical angles, which means 1 and 3 are congruent and 2 and 4 are congruent. Okay, so if this were, say, 110 degrees, 4 would be 110 degrees, which means this would be 70 degrees, so this would be 70 degrees. Okay? That's just an example. You can put those in if you'd like. So try this one. Name the vertical angles. Go ahead and pause the video. I'm going to show you right now. Okay, angle 8. Who would be congruent with angle 8? Angle 6, because they are vertical angles. And you can abbreviate angle with that marking. And this symbol right here means congruent, so that's why we use that. Angle 7 is congruent to angle 5. Because of vertical angles, they have the same measure, okay? Again, they're congruent, which means the same. Okay, so how can we use this? We can use this to help us figure out other angle measures. For example, if they tell us this angle is 30, what do we know about this angle? They're congruent. So 130 equals my 2x plus 2. I can solve for x in that way. So take 2 away and I'm left with 128 equaling 2x. Divide by 2. And let's decompose the numbers. 100 divided by 2 is 50. 20 divided by 2 is 10. 8 divided by 2 is 4. So x is 64. Okay, what about y? We know this one is 50. So this one also has to be 50. We can use these angle marks to show that they're the same. So 3y minus 10 equals 50. What do? I add 10 to both sides, and I'm left with 3y equals 60. So divide by 3, and y gives me, okay, 60 divided by 3 is 20. So we can find x and y. All right, go ahead and try this one for me. All right, pause the video. I'll be back in just a second to show you the answers. Okay, in this case, 3x plus 2 equals 140, and 3y minus 5 equals 40 because these are vertical angles and these are vertical angles. Okay, so I'm going to take 2 away from both sides, and I get 3x equals 138. And when I divide, you can use your calculator if you need to. Divide by 3, and 138 divided by 3 gives us 46. Over here, add 5 to both sides. 3y equals 45. So if we divide by 3, y equals, and 45 divided by 3 is 15. Okay? Hopefully you got those. If not, go back and rewatch the examples that I showed. Adjacent angles. 2 angles are adjacent if they share a common vertex. Okay, what does that mean? They have to have a common side and they do not overlap. So together the adjacent angles sometimes form a straight line or an angle at 180 degrees. So 1 and 2 are next to each other on the line, so they're adjacent. Oh, just kidding, that was my alarm going off to tell me that lunch is almost over. 2 and 3 are adjacent angles because they're next to each other. 3 and 4 are adjacent, and 1 and 4 are adjacent. Okay, so if they sit next to each other on the line, they are adjacent. They can't overlap, and they have to share a common vertex. So right here is the vertex that 1 and 2 share. If we separated them off, 3 and 4, 2 and 3, and 1 and 4. Okay? So name the adjacent angles in this one. Go ahead and pause it. I'm going to show you right now. Okay, if we look at angle 5, it's adjacent with angle 6. Angle 6 is adjacent with angle 7. Angle 7 is adjacent with angle 8. And angle 8 is adjacent with angle 5. All right, so let's look at this one. What is the value of x shown in the sidewalk? Okay, these are adjacent angles. So we've got 115 on this side and we've got 5x on this side. Together they equal 180 because they're on a straight line. So 115 plus 5x equals my 180. Go ahead and try that one. All right, you would take the 115 away. Help me out here. 180 minus 115 gives us 65. And 65 equals your 5x. So 5 times x, so we would divide by 5, divide your 65 by 5. and we get x equaling 13. Okay, that tells us what x is. What would be this angle then? Well, we found it right here. 5x equals 65. So if you would take 5 times 13, you get 65. So right here would be 65 degrees. And our x is 13. Okay, that's all I've got for you today. See you next time.